out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. We're coming to you with weekly recap today. Hashtag weekly recap. Here's what it is. I'll break it down for you if you don't know. I go over the week of running this truck. I do one every week. I've been doing them for 3 or 4 years now. I know I got a lot of haters on this because they don't understand it, and maybe it's above your head if you don't understand it, you know. But I try to make it as damn third grade math as I can. But I think it's just the haters wanting to hate. You know, as Taylor Swift says, the great philosopher Taylor Swift once said, haters gonna hate. I don't worry about them though. They don't matter to me. So I break down the loads, why I did the loads. I talk about the week a little bit. I go over the variable costs. I don't go over the fixed costs. You'll have to factor those in yourself. You know, your truck payment, your insurances, and those things. This is just to give you a general idea of one segment of owner-operating. And I don't think you should base your business off of just what I say here. You should base a business off of lots of information. If you're a company driver, my advice would be to you, if you have aspirations of owning a truck or a carrier and, you know, owning multiple trucks, 2 things you should learn and you should be focused on as a company driver. And I recommend audio books and talking to people as much as you can on 2 subjects before you ever decide to get into trucking. And number 1 would be fuel economy and maintenance. I kind of put those together. Learn about getting better fuel mileage and learning how to maintain a truck properly. And the other one I would recommend you get to know really well is taxes, because it's tax season coming up upon us. I've been focused on it. I've been working on it. So it's on my mind. But if you're a company driver and you got aspirations of moving on, you know, and I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying if you do, that's 2 things I would focus on very, very firmly and try to learn as much as I could on those 2 subjects, because to me, fuel economy and truck maintenance and care kind of go together. A good fuel efficient truck typically does not wear out parts like a truck that gets idle a lot and just gets horrible fuel economy. Those trucks are going to, they're going to break down more because you're putting more stress on them. Like a big horsepower truck is typically going to break down more. Hate on that all you want. That's the way I've seen it. That's my opinion. So, before I get going real quick, I do want to touch on one thing. I don't like to focus on the haters, but I got a new product for my haters. If you're a hater and you're confused and you think I even know what you look like, I probably don't, first of all. I don't keep up with haters. But I did make a product for you, and let me tell you, it's called Butt Hurt Cream from Cash is King. So if something I say rubs your ass raw, do me a favor. Go into my merch tent. I'm going to start selling this like $20 a tube. If something I say rubs you a little raw, get you a little chafed in the crack area. You ever get chafed in the crack? You know, it's like walking through a sandy desert, you know, all that heat and humidity and that sand just, you know, it creates that sound, y'all crusty and hurting back there from something I said. Buy you some Butt Hurt Cream and apply liberally. That's my mode. That's what I say to you. Now that we're done with the advertisements, let's get on with the program. I'm leased to an 80-20 split carrier. They are awesome. I've been here 4 years. If you find yourself a good carrier that does you right, stick with them. I get a lot of people saying, oh, I wouldn't do 20% this and blah, 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 you know, 5%, 2%, whatever you're getting for your money. You know, that's all I say. Get something for your money. I'm very happy with what I do. I pull their trailer on their expense. I do pay for the fuel for the trailer. Other than that, they cover everything to do with the trailer. And I don't talk about my carrier because, you know, people like to start crap on the internet, you know, back to the haters with the Butt Hurt Cream. But so I don't talk about the carrier. They're a great carrier. If you end up at the same place I'm at, you've done a good job, I think. But there's lots of good small carriers out there. I think a big problem with people trying to find a carrier nowadays is you go to Google and you type in carrier, and the first 10 pages are all mega carriers bought and paid. You know, you go sponsored Prime, sponsored CR England, sponsored Trans Am, sponsored Western Express, and then you end up, ooh, look at this one, look at that. Lots of good carriers out there. Talk to some human beings at the truck stop. If you, like this carrier here I'm at, I saw one of their trucks at a truck stop and I talked to a guy before I ever called him. And, it you know, kind of went the way I was hoping it would go. But you get a realistic opinion when it's like that. You know, I'm not here to recruit. I know everybody on YouTube right now, the big thing is a damn recruiting, code, because you can't make money trucking. So you got to make money recruiting, you know, not this guy. But, and no hate. If you are making money recruiting, do your thing. Just be honest about it. You know, be my recommendation. Just throwing it out there. But, let's talk about this week. Let's get on with it. Enough about enough. And, so I did 2 loads this week. I like to go Minnesota out and back. And, this week is a little different. I had some family things I had to take care of. And so I left out a day early with a load that I don't normally do. And that load went from Minnesota to Louisiana, which is a lane I typically run sometimes. It's not my normal run out east and back, but I wanted to get going out so I could get back a day early. And my load out was going to leave out on like a Friday, and I took this on a Thursday instead. So that's the way it worked out. This load was Minnesota to Louisiana, $4,500, 55 degrees continuous, 44,000 pounds on this one. Heavy load. 191 empty miles to go get it, 1169 on the loaded miles for 1360 total miles at $4,500 for that load. And then I got down to Louisiana. Load's not so good down there right now. Had to look around, kind of had some like fumbling around down there. One problem was I got unloaded on a Saturday. So when you get unloaded on a Saturday, and the place was like hours behind on unloading when I got there. So I had a noon Saturday appointment. I didn't get unloaded till 6 p.m. So you're not going to find many loads that pick up on a Saturday night. So the company I'm leased on to, they did find me one that picked up on Sunday afternoon. So, I was like, well, hey, I figured I was going to be sitting here till Monday. So yes, I will take that load and get rolling because I'm trying to get back home anyway. And I can't lose too many days or I'm just going to have to deadhead home. So, the second load was Mississippi, out of Mississippi up to Missouri. And that was 170 empty miles to go get that. 744 on the loaded, 914 total. That load weighed 36,000 pounds, 26 degrees. I ran that on continuous. It was a meat load, so I didn't want to play with it. That load paid $1,850, $1,850 on that one. So after that load, they had a load that I could have went and got in St. Louis that went up to Minnesota, and I could have added some more money onto the week, but I had to be home for personal reasons. So this is like a 5-day work week right here. And I thought about like putting the other load on as a hypothetical and letting you know, I didn't really do the load, just, this is what I could have made. But I figured, let's just call it like it is. Next week, I will talk about all this deadheading like 300 something, almost 400. I think it might have been 400 miles to the house deadhead. But that is part of being an owner operator. When you say you're going to be home, sometimes you got to take the hit to get home. Now, like if I was a company driver, maybe it was out of my control, I would have just done the load. But when it's on me, it's on me. And when I say I'm going to be home, I'm going to be home. So that ended up the week right there. I finished it out there and then I deadheaded home. So all that deadhead will be on the next load. I'll let you know it's there. I'm not trying to hide anything. But for me, on the numbers, I try to just give you what like a normal person trucking would have been doing. Because if you hadn't had to be home, like I could have added another $1,400 or $1,500 to this week if I didn't have to be home, So technically, I'm not against going back to Louisiana on this load because it was a lot of deadheading, but the weather's warm down there and I get really good fuel mileage when the weather is warm out. So it was kind of like, could have ended up being a good week. So the week ended up being $6,350. If you had another $1,400 of that, I'm in like, $7,800, somewhere in that ballpark. And my goal is $7,000 a week right now in the current market situations. So to be at $6,350, I was pretty happy with that because when I got that second load that was going to Missouri, I called in and they were like, hey, do you want to go to St. Louis and get one of the normal loads from St. Louis back to Minnesota that we normally do? And I said, unless it's got to be done by me, if you got anybody else that's willing to go get it, let them go get it because I'm not trying to be out on the road for an extra day or two, like I could have loaded it, but then instead of just going home, I would have had an extra day to go get it unloaded. And I already had plane tickets booked and everything else. So I was kind of cutting it a little close to begin with. So And I'm not a big fan of going and loading a load and then taking it to the yard and then having someone else deliver it, because it's like, for me, there's risk involved in that. You know, number one, I like the trailer I'm pulling, and I don't like letting other people get under my trailer, because I feel responsible for this trailer. I pull this trailer all the time. It's not mine, it's the company's trailer, but I try to take care of it on a level that, you know, when it needs greased, I will get under there and grease it. You know, when it needs things, I will do it. So I wanted to keep my trailer and just go home, honestly. So that's what I did. $63.50 total for the week revenue. My 80% of that is $5,080. That's my 80% split. So it's not really my money, it's my business's money. All miles for the week, 2274 all miles. 361 deadhead miles in this current market. Deadheads up. I didn't do the percentage on that, but that's probably like 17-18% deadhead for the week. So it just is what it is. And that's 1913 on the loaded miles. So that's 279 a mile, all miles. 223 a mile, my 80%. And 332 a loaded mile. So pretty good loaded mile, actually. Now, that load that I went and picked up, that first load out of Minnesota, that load had a really good rate on it because of snow. It was coming a blizzard, like literally blizzard warnings out as I was driving empty 191 miles up there to get that load. I literally got that load put on the trailer. I made it 20 miles to the closest truck stop and shut it down till the next morning. It was snowing like crazy. I think we got like 6 or 7 inches in a couple hours. I was not about to play in that. So, that's why that load had a little bit better rate on it. I don't know if I could get that rate, that 4,500 on that load every day of the week. So, just a little, you know, put that in there. I had a little bit of snow pay in there. That's why that rate per mile was a little higher probably. So, let's go over to variable expenses. I spent $11.55 on diesel. I spent $126 on reefer fuel, $55 on DEF. I had to buy DEF at like a major truck stop chain. Normally I buy it at a place that sells it for $2.99 a gallon. So my DEF price was up for the week. $13, I did scale the big load going down, but the load coming back, I didn't worry about it. It was 36,000 pounds. It was very uniformly loaded. I felt confident just using my scale on my truck on that one. And I spent $20 in parking because, you know, I got unloaded late on that first load and I really needed to get parked. So I just went ahead and paid for parking. I didn't want to fight it. That's how I am. Once a week, I'm kind of like, if I pay for parking once a week, I consider that okay. So variable expenses, $1,369 for the week. Bring over that $5,080 in revenue to my business minus the $1,369 is $3,711 left to do what I have to do with, $3,711. I took $500 of that out and put it in maintenance. And that left me $3,211 after my maintenance money was taken out and put aside. Overall, pretty good week for what it was. You know, I could have just stayed at home and got ready for the vacation, but that's not how I am. Like, I like to get out and earn that money. Let's go make some money. You know, it's like around my house with a house full of kids, and I mean, I got to be in prime earning right now. You know, like so. If there's a chance to go make money, I need to go make money because there's not many chances that there's going to be a day go by where it's like, hey, we don't have anything to spend money on today. You know, it's like, whew, ain't many of them days in my life. So, did pretty good. The fuel cost for the week, 51 cents per mile for fuel cost. Fuel cost seems to be doing pretty good. We're getting warmer out. My fuel economy is going up a little bit. And fuel prices have been going down a little bit here lately. So, you know, I'm at 51 cents a mile, which is historically about average for this truck. You know, of course, during certain times of, you know, the pandemic, I did better, but as of right now, that's cool. I can live with that. So that's a week, guys. If you like weekly recap, do me a favor, smash that like button. Let me know you like it. Leave me some comments down there. If you would like to buy some butthurt cream, stop being a hater. And thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. I like doing these. It's the only reason I keep doing them because you know, I like helping people too. You know, it's I try to help people with these, but I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more trucking content. Come join me for a live show And be careful out there. I don't know why I said that. Stay safe. What do I always say? Oh, yeah, that's right. Remember, people are more important than trucking. Bye. Take care of each other out there. That's what I always say.
To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call